all that on the website. But here it is, folks. Go ahead and roll it. Stay with us.
On the morning of September 11th, shortly after I got to City Hall, at say about 9:30, I called regional scaffold. And at that point in time, I thought all I needed was some scaffolding and netting and some sidewalk bridging, because all I saw was that a plane had hit the building and there were going to be some hazardous structural elements hanging off the building, and I knew I needed to protect the public from walking in and around the Trade Center complex, never realizing that the towers would actually collapse.
The Trade Center complex had consisted of 7 buildings. The attack on the Twin Towers destroyed all of them. The South Tower was the first to fall. The Marriott Vista Hotel was crushed. A half an hour later, the North Tower collapsed. World Trade Centers 4, 5, and 6 were left standing, but damaged beyond repair. World Trade Center 7 fell after burning for 7 hours. Workers toiled in bitter smoke and clouds of toxic dust composed of pulverized concrete, fiberglass, and asbestos.
Boom. Asbestos. Towers 1 and 2 were admittedly built, all the insulation out of asbestos. It was publicly admitted in the plans. The federal government would not pay for masks for firefighters, police, and others for the months after. And Bush put out an executive order, that is a PDD, not an executive order, but an interdepartmental directive, that the government not fund that, and then later that they not fund the medical problems of firefighters and police. This just came out a month ago. And that they knew there was asbestos clouds everywhere. You probably heard about this. And they ordered the Environmental Protection Agency to change their report and say no asbestos, when publicly the architecture plans said asbestos. So interesting little slip up there by PBS admitting that. And again, asbestos is the fireproofing. One reason the firefighters reported from their own transmission tapes that we have posted at Infowars.com that the fires were almost completely out. Then they start reporting bombs and the explosions go off. Can't have those pesky firefighters talking about the bombs they found. That's why the feds then declared that all the firefighters' radio tapes had malfunctioned. Turned out that wasn't true. The New York Daily News reported that they had all the tapes and the feds had ordered them blocked. The firefighters got mad and released the tapes, and now we have them posted on the website with a direct link to the City of New York's own website. We'll go over that a little bit later. In the detailed report at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. But now let's get to the key clips. This is where they admit that 4, 5, and 6, the remnants of them, were pulled or demolished. That pulling means demolition. Then we'll go to Silverstein going, yeah, we blew Building 7 up on 9/11 that afternoon. Just right out in the open. It's like Blair saying 2 weeks ago, well, Iraq's about weapons of mass destruction. They slip up all the time. Here it is.
Toxic dust composed of pulverized concrete, fiberglass, and asbestos. Construction experts from across the country ran the complicated demolition work. By mid-December, the Department of Design and Construction had leveled World Trade Center buildings 4 and 5.
Oh, we're getting ready to pull Building 6.
We had to be very careful how we demolished Building 6. We were worried about the Building 6 coming down and then damaging the slurry wall, so we wanted that particular building to fall within a certain area.
So, don't get confused here. Have critical thinking. We're playing the clip where in mid-December, they got rid of Building 4, 5, and 6. And we just showed the head of the construction for the city and the others on the site getting ready to blow them, saying on national TV, pulling, demolish. Pulling means demolish. You can look it up in the dictionary or on any controlled demolition website. It's what the term means. So now let's go ahead and go to Silverstein, going back to 9/11. The owner saying they destroyed Building 7 that afternoon. Go ahead and go to it.
Trade Center 7 had always been considered the starting point for rebuilding. Located north of the slurry wall, 7 had been cleared faster than the rest of the site, and there had been no bodies to recover. Pelted by debris when the North Tower collapsed, 7 burned until late afternoon, allowing occupants to evacuate to safety.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Okay, and then we air it again here in a second. We play it again. To the Statesman writers, to the Chronicle writers, to anyone out there that cares, to UT professors, anybody that has a brain, it is on the record that they say there were no bombs, no demolition in any of the buildings on 9/11. They're on the record, despite the seismographs, the firefighters, the police, the AP reporters that said, we were told to get back, they were going to control demolition of the building. Building 7 wasn't hit by a plane. This is in plain view, the owner slipping up in a documentary, and the documentary makers don't even know what they're putting on television. Stuff's too complex now to cover all this up. You're right, it's too big. You can't cover it up. You haven't covered any of what you did up. And so the owner admits that on 9/11, they have the controlled demolition of this building. Now, is there going to be a news article about this? Does anybody care? Is this anything anyone's concerned about? Hidden in plain view. Now look, from the seismographs, the firefighters, the witnesses, we know they had charges already in 1 and 2. The 110-story buildings. And so we wouldn't have to argue with you. We always pointed at 7. Because 7 wasn't hit by an aircraft, caught fire later in the afternoon and collapsed. Geometrically imploded in on itself. Also, Rudolph Giuliani told ABC News that morning, we have the links to ABC News, by the way. Rudolph Giuliani, this is from my report at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Any reporters want to find out the truth, want to know what investigation really is, go to the website. Who else knew that Building 7 was about to collapse? A photographer named Tom Franklin was near Building 7 at around 4 p.m. He remarked for ABC News, firemen evacuated the area as they prepared for the collapse of Building 7. We were watching and catching our breath, drinking water and juice, when I decided to walk back towards the debris. It was about 4 and 5 p.m. I would say I was 150 yards away when I saw the firefighters raising the flag. And then we have the Rudolph Giuliani quote. Before either of the towers collapsed, Mayor Rudolph Giuliani and his associates were told to leave the headquarters that they had set up within Building 7. Now, Building 7 was the head of FEMA, was the head of the city, the county emergency management. It was the head for the CIA, FBI, and Secret Service. Remember in 99, they built that big federal command bunker on the 30th floor? It controlled the loudspeakers in building 1 and 2.